Everybody's ready. First item on the agenda is the approval of the agenda. Is there anything anyone would like to add to the agenda? No? Okay, everyone's happy with it. So would someone please move that we approve the agenda? Chris, and a seconder. Katie, thank you. All in favor? Great. Now the adoption of the minutes. The first minute, we didn't approve the minutes last month because there was a question. I do believe that we've had that question answered through emails from Mary. So is somebody willing to move that we adopt the minutes of the August 19th meeting? Chris, and a seconder? Jenny, thank you. All in favor of adopting those minutes from August 19th? Thank you. Passed. Now the minutes from our last meeting, September 23rd, which everyone's had a chance to read by now. Would somebody move that we adopt those minutes? Please. Katie is moving that. Would somebody second that, please? Jenny, thank you. All in favor of adopting those minutes as submitted? Yeah, thank you. Passed. Now, disclosure of monetary interest. Does anyone have any? No, hearing none. We can proceed to the priority issues. The first item under priority issues is the town hall renovations. So I can hand over the meeting to Carl.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good evening, everyone. Firstly, I'd like to introduce and thank Director of Community Services, Art Manhire, who's joining us this evening. Art's the project manager for the town hall renovations, which, as you know, are for the most part complete, but there's still a few things that are getting worked on, including the hose tower, and his team have been working on some design options for that, and Art's looking for direction from the Municipal Heritage Committee on that. So I'll turn it over to Art if you'd like to speak to the design options that he'd sent out to the committee a couple of weeks ago.
So what we did is we engaged Perth Woodworking to try to look at a few different options in terms of how to finish that. We got some pictures from the Heritage House Museum around kind of what the hose tower looked like at different times. We had a couple of different period pictures that we then provided to Perth Woodworking, and they did up the document that I believe you guys had in your agenda. Hopefully you've had a chance to take a look at those things. In the interim, there was also some question around access to the tower as a kind of historic landmark. And in the initial phases of design, we started looking at whether we could open that up as a tourism type of option for people doing walking tours of the town. And when we did that, it brought in a whole new set of regulations in terms of what we needed to do to the tower. So we got a quote for that at $500,000 because it had to be earthquake proof in order for us to open it up as a public piece. So we brought that back to council, and we decided that we would restore the brickwork and the other visible parts of it that we could, and that was going to cost us, or roughly cost us, around $100,000 to replace the brickwork and to do the repointing. So that was the option there. So right now we're looking at what do we do with the doors and windows to restore the structure that's there. Part of the challenge coming into this, of course, is that there's a section that's probably, I think we've kind of determined about 20 feet off the top of the tower that at some point in history was removed. We're not sure when or why, but so we have the four windows on the upper part, the front doors, and the whole front door section, and then the larger window that's on the entry part on off of Church Street entrance. So if you take a look at that and give me your feedback on it, I'd be happy to hear kind of what your thoughts are. And then the process will be that I'll go back to Perth Woodworking and price out the options and then bring them forward.
Sorry, I had to unmute myself. Go ahead, Chris.
Thanks, Dorothy. And thanks, Art. These drawings look great and exciting, and we got some options here. I was wondering, for the pictures from the Heritage House Museum, what style would correspond with the oldest to date or the earliest record we could find for it?
Basically slab windows is what they kind of reflected as. It looks like they weren't operational windows. They didn't open them for ventilation. They were just slabs that went across with pieces of wood essentially nailed over them. So the millwork and things that they're proposing here is a little bit more elaborate, but I think the look and feel is fairly consistent and a little bit more reflective of what we'd like to see in there. So I know that the three options are not significantly different. The option A1 is the front door where it's kind of the boards that go down rather than the more barn door type thing of option number. So A1 is the kind of barn door. A2 is just the slab pieces with almost a tongue and groove connection in the door. And then A3 is more of a gentrified kind of look of a paneled door.
Okay, thanks, Art. So do we know if there was a window above those doors originally, or what would that have looked like from the Heritage House pictures?
No, it's really hard to tell from there. But it's right now the actual jamb that goes around the front of those doors is all original millwork. So it looks to us like it was solid wood that went right in, and we're going to use the original jamb because of the good condition of that wood going into it. But it doesn't look like there was a transom or anything else over top of it. It looks like it was solid wood.
Okay. Would it be possible maybe to circulate, if we could get a copy of those photos? Just because I think that's the closest we've got for like what the built form would have been originally to make a judgment call on. And
I think the issue there is that there's two pictures, I believe, that we provided to them, and both of them had different looks. So the estimated timeline was probably about 30 years apart. On those pictures, so it really would be a question of preference, I guess. But I can certainly get those from Lisa and forward them to the committee.
Okay, I think Dave Lorraine was trying to get on her phone. I don't know if she's still in the waiting room.
I am, if you can hear me.
Okay.
Yep.
Yes,
I can hear you.
Oh, you can hear me? Okay, then
Yes.
I think that's as good as it gets for me.
Okay, that's fine.
would you like to say something at this point, Lorraine?
Well, I just got on, but
Okay.
I just caught the tail end of the pictures. I was really pleased to see the pictures that we were sent, the three different options, and I agree with what Chris just said.
I'm very impressed. I love everything I see, and I was exploring the linseed oil paint, which has been used on the Chateau Versailles. So if it's good enough for the Chateau Versailles, I think it's good enough for the Smiths Falls Host Tower. And that gives me a lot of confidence in the people that are doing the work. So, but I'd love to see a picture of the door, a photograph of the doors to.
Yeah, and the challenge is we either have one from up Church Street, kind of looking at it on an angle, or down Beckwith Street, again, looking at it on an angle. So there's not really something that's very clear and definitive.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we would have just tried to reproduce that. So that's why the options are there to say kind of what's the overall look and feel, and how does it fit with the rest of the building as well. So, you know, there are some vents and shutters on the town hall portion of the building that you know, obviously are around the same time frame, although you know, you're looking at iterations over a period of probably 75, 80 years when those pieces were built. So during that time, they did change. But I think from a workmanship perspective, I would be very comfortable with these people and what they're proposing. The look is really what I'm looking for direction on.
Katie has a comment to make?
Yes, I didn't receive those pictures, maybe because I'm new and my name wasn't on the list, or if someone could send them to me, I'd love to see them.
Carl, were they in the agenda package, or? You're muted.
Got his mute.
Sorry,
Hi, honey.
hello? Oh, hi, yes.
Hi, honey.
I will, I'll take a look and see exactly what was included, but I'll flip those over to Katie right away.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So I'm hearing that we would like to see photographs of how the host tower used to look. And Katie hasn't seen is it the drawings you haven't seen, Katie?
Yes.
Okay.
No, and maybe they came, but
So we're not going to be able to say anything definitive at this meeting, but since we have Art here, does anyone else have any more questions or any more discussion about the town hall renovations and the host tower specifically? Chris?
Thanks, Dorothy. I just, I wanted to clarify, there's two different sizes of windows in the host tower. The windows on the side facing the entranceway are bigger than the two facing Church Street, is it?
Well, no, the four windows at the top are the same size.
Okay.
And then there's a larger one that's actually in the entrance off of the Church Street side.
Oh, yeah, you're okay now.
And then the door, so.
Okay, so we need to figure out the sash window options and but yeah, these drawings are excellent. I'm wondering, kind of back to broader town hall stuff, are the fire bay doors kind of as completed now, or like the mullions on, everything done the way that's going to be done?
No, they're gonna, the architects are working on kind of putting that, the mullion look into those windows. So I wasn't happy with what they had originally planned. And so I've asked them to explore a couple of other options that give us that look from the outside before we approve what that looks like. And I can forward that to the committee as well when I get it. So
I think it'd be great if we could have the same kind of involvement that we've got with this host tower stuff. That'd be awesome. Because these drawings are just, you can picture it. It just instills confidence, you know, and it looks really good. So I appreciate it. Thanks, Art.
okay. I'm just looking for Lisa's email, but I'll reach out to her just to have her resend those pictures to me, and then I'll flip them over to Carl and Mary to distribute to the committee.
Are you still there, Lorraine?
Yes, sorry. My grandson, he's doing a project with his grandfather. Came a little early, sorry.
That's
Since I can't see you raising your hand, I'll have to ask you now and then if you want to say something. So do you?
Again, I was looking after him, so I don't know are we voting on
No.
picking one of the pictures? Or
Not at this
just
point,
separating?
because we need
Okay.
some more information. We'll have to do
So
that.
okay, so that's
Meeting.
fine. Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree.
Okay, anything further?
I was very if I could just add, I was interested too in the pictures that I've found. the windows had shutters that closed, at least in some of the pictures. So I think what Art is saying is right. These are much older versions of the windows, but I thought they were really nice as well. It's a picture that I have that everybody's probably seen. It's been Town Hall and Public School, Smith Falls, and the tower is just in the background. So you
Yes.
only see the tower that's taken down plus the windows that are above the Town Hall. Yeah.
Yeah, that's where it makes it very difficult to really tell kind of when the picture was taken and then what was in the picture when it was taken. So I think there was a period there of about 30 years where the windows changed, where there are a couple of different pictures, and one's from the late 1800s and then another one from the, I believe it's the mid 20s.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there's Carl. Any more discussion on the subject or questions for Art? All right, thank you very much for joining us, Art, and for providing the information for us.
Thanks for having me. And as I said, I'll follow up with Lisa and then get that to Carl and Mary, and they can distribute to the group.
Thank you, and we'll put the item on the agenda for next month's meeting.
Perfect. Appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is the Municipal Heritage Committee Heritage Hunt idea. So I guess I'll hand this over to Jenny.
Okay. I'm not sure how much more I can add besides the email, but this idea of a kind of scavenger hunt, a heritage hunt, where you're searching for clues of our buildings, I think could work really well for us. I think it has the potential to be a fun kind of interactive. Families could do it, groups could do it. You don't have to be a kid. You could be an adult doing it by yourself or with a group. I think it would be a fun idea. I think it would be fairly easy. Maybe I shouldn't say that because I'm not exactly sure, but from what I've seen of other municipalities that have done something similar, it looks like we could adapt it fairly easily. So if the committee thinks it's a good idea, I guess it's just trying to figure out when and how and which buildings we kind of want to feature.
The nice thing about it, Jenny, one of the things that I thought, this is Lorraine again, sorry, is that you could do it. You wouldn't even have to do it virtually. You could have a handout from us that just gives you the clues, and then you fill in what you think the building is, like we did before on, what was the other thing we did? No, it was coloring, but then they could just hand it in to us. Or what were you thinking? Were you thinking this would be done all virtually?
No, I was hoping that, well, in my thought anyways, even having something that people could print at home and then take with them and then submit back to us somehow, whether they scan it and email it or if they drop off somewhere, then we can draw from those winners. But I kind of envision something where people, my hope anyways, is that people are actually going to these buildings and looking at them and trying to
that's exactly what I agree.
Yeah, the parts that really make them unique, and that's what we could zoom in on as the clues. And then I would kind of like to add a kind of a tricky question to make sure they're actually going there. So something that you could only know if you went, but I guess that's not a requirement.
Is this like a scavenger hunt?
Essentially, that's
Because usually at each place you get a hint for the next place, don't you?
Yeah.
Or you could just have them listed, like the clues all listed, and then you go about finding them.
Mm-hmm.
Might be easier that way with us not being able to be there, but
yeah.
And I think that the library might. I'm just thinking of people who have in the past told me they don't have internet, they don't have an availability to do it printed or whatever, but maybe they could pick those up at the desk in town hall, which is open.
Mhm. Or the
and drop it off
library, yeah.
there. Or the library. The library is not open as much as the town hall, but yeah,
Mhm.
either one.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
I like the idea of the question to kind of prove that they went there. Because some of the buildings have a date on them. And unless
Oh,
you
right.
went and had a good look, or maybe or an interesting fact about the building, perhaps, or just some evidence that people actually went around outside and hunted for the heritage.
Yeah, good idea.
Yeah. So how would we like to proceed, and what kind of a timeline? Like when would we want people to be going out and doing this, and then we can work backwards from that.
Were we thinking of the spring when the weather's nicer? Jenny,
What were your thoughts?
when were you thinking?
I'm open to anything. I had kind of envisioned it alternating between the coloring contest, which we did last year in February, just so it's not so repetitive. Like, I'm happy if we want to do another coloring contest too, but kind of having those maybe alternate or doing something different every year, I think might keep the engagement a little higher. So that would be, we focus that around Heritage Week in February. So that to me is kind of what sticks in my mind, but I'm open to anything.
Okay.
I think that's a good idea. We'd get people
Yeah, I
out
like that
in the winter doing something that's fun, and as long as they dress for the weather, it should be fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
That'll get everybody out.
Right. So it'll be during Heritage Week. That's in February, right?
We might want to give them a little more time than a week. So maybe the month of February, I'm not sure, but maybe end it by the last day of Heritage Week or something.
Yeah. Sounds good.
So Jenny, do you need any help putting it together? Would you like a group?
Yeah, if anyone is willing or able.
I'd love to help.
Okay.
I will too, if you'd like to have two helpers.
Absolutely.
We'll have a committee of 3 then.
That's great.
Carl's got his hand up.
Yeah, and please keep us posted too from the town end if there's any sort of administrative support that we can provide. I'd be happy to talk with Mary and see what we can do as well.
Okay.
Anyone else? Ted?
I'm wondering if there can be some intrigue, and if things can be phrased in a way that when people go there, they're going to discover, treasure. So it's not just how many bricks are, on the first row of the building, but if you look carefully, you might discover something else about it.
Ted, you better get in the group, Ted.
So I better join the group. Yeah, I think that's what I'm saying. Mhm.
All right, good.
Is this group, since it's only 4 people right now, could we have a meeting that doesn't involve Zoom?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Well, that'll be fun.
Can we, Carl?
Oh,
You're on mute, Carl.
So have a working group outside
Yeah.
of the auspices. I'll run that by the clerk's office.
Okay.
It seems to me that subcommittees are
large dining room table.
Yeah, the railway museum, their subgroups meet at just a place where they can stay the proper distance apart, and it works out really well.
Yeah.
I don't think we'd be able to pull it off very effectively if we had to do it over Zoom.
Yeah.
No.
So yeah, I think it's not a formal meeting with a quorum, so.
Yeah, usually these are a little bit more informal without the formal minutes and all of that. I'll verify just to make sure that there's no issues from an administrative standpoint, but certainly I can appreciate this is one of those things that's much easier with a small group there. So
We could wear our masks too.
Yes, of course we can. Yeah. Bring our hand sanitizer.
Yeah.
So Jenny, we're going to leave it to you then to contact your committee and whenever you want to get going, and we'll be there to help you.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is the CIP Evaluation Committee. So who's going to address this? Is it you, Carl, or you, Chris?
well,
Carl?
I can speak very quickly, and Councillor McGuire can fill me in as well. But we do have the Community Improvement Plan Evaluation Committee, as you're all aware, is it's a body that's appointed by council to consider applications under the Community Improvement Plan, and that's a funding program. That's a funding program the town has to support revitalization in the downtown core, and that includes funding projects for facade improvements, interior renovations that enhance the property, and ultimately revitalization is the key. But there's a few things that we look at as well, and certainly one of the items we consider too is making sure that a facade improvement that the community, that the CIP funds, ideally we would like it to fit within the context of the original building. And as a result, the terms of reference for that committee stipulate that a municipal heritage committee member should be on that committee. And unfortunately, at this point, while Chris sits on the committee as a council rep, we do have room for somebody to wear that MHC hat to participate in the CIP committee. So the committee meets on a monthly basis generally, and or as needed as applications come in. We have an evaluation matrix where we're looking at the merits of the applications, and the committee makes a funding recommendation to council. Now is also a really great time to join, because the CIP program is about 5 years old. We've been through there's been certainly an evolution of staff and committee members who've been involved in it over the years, and we're actually undertaking the required program review at this stage, and the CIP committee is sort of acting as a steering committee on that, making sure that the programs work as they are intended to. So this new person would have the opportunity to participate in that. So at this point, staff are looking for a volunteer from this committee to sit as the MHC rep on the CIP committee. Councillor McGuire, do you have anything to add to that as well?
Yeah, I think that's a great description, Carl. If you're the kind of person that really loves walking down Becker Street and checking out all of those ornate heritage attributes that are 3 stories up and some of them are deteriorating, this would be the job for you. If you really like seeing those windows that fit the hole that they're supposed to go in instead of a vinyl square, those are the kind of things that this MHC position really needs to champion, because the CIP's got the money, but we really want them to do it in a way that respects the heritage attributes of the building, so they're maintained in perpetuity. And today only, if you sign up, I will give you a free CIP walking tour of the CIP area, just to get get an idea of our past projects and kind of where we're at. So
I think it's such a wonderful program, the whole thing.
Yeah, it is.
It's amazing.
It is.
But I feel I'm just brand new on this committee. I don't have much background in heritage yet. Anybody else
I
interested?
feel the same way. I love the idea of bringing these old buildings back to life. Love to have a VIP tour with Chris.
Me too. Me too.
But I'm still learning what quorum means, and so I'm a little
Sorry.
hesitant because I'm a new guy. That is my My
That being said,
concern, and
Ted,
I do
you-
have some
you-
work that I need to get done
Yeah.
also, but I'm also very intrigued, so.
Me too.
Lorraine, do you wanted to say something?
I do, and I'm frustrated because I know you can't see me, so I'm putting my hands up. Anyway, I sat in the role that Chris has for a number of years when that CIP started, and it's such an important committee because there, as he explained, there are so many buildings that, like for instance, the theater, as we tore it down, there's so many buildings that need people who care about keeping our heritage and enriching them as a resource for our town and making it special. And I think that the Municipal Heritage Committee, that's why they were chosen, because as much as both of you say, you know, you don't know enough, I think you're both very excited and keen, and you come across as someone who loves the idea of heritage. So I think either one of you could do it. I also think Dorothy has a great expertise that she'd be a real asset on that committee.
Chris, are you the council rep then to the committee?
I was before Chris.
But Chris is now, though. So there's just one council rep? I see.
Yeah, there's one citizen and one council rep, and I think that's a good mix because the citizen rep brings a different, perspective. They come being very open to everything, and they're not having to report it back to anyone but maybe this committee. I think it's a good idea to have both.
Is the citizen rep, are you talking about a citizen rep and an MHC rep, or is it the same person?
No. What we're hoping is that our citizen rep on the CIP will come from Municipal Heritage Committee because as of what was just said, that we're the group that are trying to keep up with what's, supposed to happen in terms of heritage. So it just makes sense because many of the buildings that they are looking at are very old and need lots of advice and change.
I think Carl.
So our citizen rep, right? Oh, sorry, Carl.
Oh, sorry, a couple of it. Yes, the terms of reference basically identify all of the stakeholders who have a stake in the MHC. So somebody from the town's finance department is identified as a stakeholder. So we have the treasurer appointed. A representative from the DBA is identified as a stakeholder. So the DBA has appointed somebody. Same with the chambers, same with the economic development department, and the terms identify MHC as a stakeholder and a very important stakeholder. So that's the space we're trying to fill. The citizen member at large is Irv Mazurkowitz, and he actually is the committee chair, but he doesn't fill one of these other stakeholders. He's a citizen member at large. And there's the question I have for Chris as well. Unfortunately, Tony Humphrey isn't in here. Has he expressed an interest in filling that spot?
Not to me at this time, but yeah, I would guess I'd just stress about it that it's really a design committee because the idea is that good design makes good economic development and makes a good downtown experience for visitors. So we've got the town design guidelines. They're pretty straightforward. It's a pretty small document. There's a little bit more in depth, say for example, is the Conservation of Historic Places in Canada, the Standards and Guidelines document. But it's really not I wouldn't say the learning curve. There's definitely a steeper learning curve to the MHC than the CIP because the CIP is really, we're doing this project, we're replacing this sign, we're replacing this lighting, we're replacing these windows. Does it comply with the design guidelines and does it comply with what would have been there originally? So sometimes it could be a matter of getting an old photo from Lisa at the Heritage House Museum and just making sure that it's authentic and not the heritage-y kind of sometimes that we can get carried away on. So it's if you like design, this would be a good committee for you. And yeah, I wouldn't be intimidated by the definitely the Heritage Act is a bigger beast to get your head. At least for me, it was anyway. So.
Okay, I'll sign up if I get the tour.
Okay. I didn't know there'd be interest in the tour.
Yay!
Well, you said if we signed up today, we could. Okay, I'll do it.
I was worried maybe that's what was holding people back.
No,
No.
no, I'll hold you to that tour of all the places though.
Okay,
We could tag along, Ted, maybe.
yeah,
Yeah, can we do that?
as long as we're at distance.
Oh, I don't know about that.
It's not going
I
to be an
forgot about
officially
that.
sanctioned event. We're just going to show up on a corner at a time.
Yeah.
I think what I will do though is perhaps I'll leave the Heritage Hunt for Jenny, Katie and Ted. And I'll take my name off that and I'll take on the CIP instead, if that's okay with everybody.
That's a
Mhm.
great idea. Thanks,
Okay.
Dorothy.
Bravo.
Welcome.
Thank you.
You'll get to work with myself and Mary again on a different committee.
Excellent. Okay, we're on to correspondence items, but there are none, so not that I know of anyway. Unless there's something new. So roundtable, we have time for roundtable today. The last few meetings, we've sort of run out of time. Lorraine, did you,
Well,
your
there's
phone
so
box
many.
highlighted and I think then you, sorry, go ahead.
There's so many things. I know that Chris and I were talking about getting some documents out to all of us to share, and maybe we could do small amounts of these and then perhaps read it for the next meeting and then talk about it. Like the documents he listed are lengthy, but there are sections, and the section that he suggested that would be a good starting point talks about the things you said you'd like to learn more about. Chris, tell them the title. I can't remember what the title of that section is.
Well, are we talking about the conservation of historic places in Canada, standards and guidelines for conservation?
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah, so like it's a great resource. What we've been doing is say for the Rideau Hotel or the town hall renovations as an MHC, just for Ted and Katie, we've got, usually that's been the line we've used, that the renovations will be completed in consideration or with consideration of this document. And it's a really great in-depth document. It's got some amazing pictures in it. But it's one of those things you'd never sit down and read it front to finish. So I was chatting with Lorraine and thinking maybe if we took on like a certain section a week or a month,
Yeah.
we could have a little discussion about it. And it's a way to kind of do some professional development and learning without, like, we don't have the Heritage Conference. We don't have the same kind of meetings we used to have
Right.
before COVID, but we could
That's
kind
a
of get.
great idea.
And it's, I don't know, I find it's a fun book.
Good
to read.
idea. Good idea.
Yeah.
I like that idea.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm not sure I didn't really think this through fully, but how about I'll send an email out with some ideas of how we can move forward
Okay.
and see who wants to be involved. And
Okay,
Yes,
great.
I would definitely like to read have a look at what you have there, Chris, before I embark on my new assignment. So,
okay, sounds good.
Katie, would you like to bring up any subject under the round table? Just anything?
I didn't know what this is, so no, I'll listen this time and see what
Okay.
everybody else has to say. Thank you.
Ted?
No, I'm good. I'm good.
Okay.
I'm having
Jen?
fun. Today was exciting. We were talking about Mortise and Tenon joinery, and there was I was happy to see the fire tower receiving some love, because I was looking at it recently, and it'll look great with windows. So
Yes.
Right.
Jenny, do you have anything to mention?
I just have a question. There was a mention last meeting about arranging a tour of the old waterworks building. Is there any progress on that?
It's not. Maybe that's something, Carol, maybe that's something Mary was going to do?
Yes, I'll check in with that. I understand I'll check with Mary to see if we have if she has an update on that. I understand a challenging building structurally to access. So that may not be, I wouldn't expect that it would be easy to do, but we can, I'll report back with an update on that.
Okay.
I have a question. I'm wondering if any progress has been made on the heritage audit process, the things we talked about at the last meeting about, rewriting the heritage bylaws. Has anything happened over the course of the month?
So that's actually something I had an update to bring to the committee as my roundtable. But as Councillor Allen had asked for an update on the bylaw review, and that would of course be part of the heritage audit and the assessment. So in the coming weeks, the staff will be preparing the RFQ to obtain quotes for the proposed work and determine how this fits within the municipal budget. Unfortunately, it hasn't been addressed in great detail since the last meeting. We've had a number of other workload pressures, especially with getting our CAP review up. So this is something that's moved. It's getting closer to the list, but it's getting closer to the front of the line. But the RFQ will be reviewed internally by staff and forwarded to the committee once complete for further information. So Mary and I are working on that, and we hope to have something more concrete for you prior to the next meeting.
Good, thank you. Anything else from anybody?
Has everybody signed up or who's able to sign up for the Hotel Rideau tour?
Yes, looking forward to that.
Isn't it Friday?
No, it's next week.
Yeah, it's next week, but on Friday, isn't it?
Wednesday.
Oh, no. Wednesday, okay.
Ours is at 3 on the Wednesday.
Yeah, 3 to 4 next.
Yeah.
The 27th, right? It was moved?
27th.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm actually in Ajax at my brother's right now. So I'm not even in Smiths Falls. So
Okay, well, I guess
the
we
weather
have,
like in Ajax.
the sun is shining. What's it doing there?
Well, we've had weeks of rain, it seems, anyway.
Yes, we went through
Right
it
now
this
it's
morning.
the sun's out right now.
Oh, good.
That's
Well,
why
we
I'm
drove through
That's
that.
why I'm all bright in the picture, because the sun's shining in on me. Carl, you're kind of in the dark room.
Actually, it's I have a Crimson King maple tree behind me, so it steals a lot of light. But
Okay, well, I think that concludes our business. So next, unless anyone has anything else, last chance? No?
Thank you.
Next meeting, November the 18th at 4:30 p.m. So would someone please move that we adjourn? Jenny? All in favor?
Favor.
Apparently we did.